What's going on, everybody? Nito17 here, and we are back with another Pokemon discussion video. It's been about a week, but we are here. We had a lot happen. Pokejungle's running his website. Had to let him get all his stuff done, and we're finally at a point. It's not bad. Monday after E3. Speaking of Pokejungle, I'm joined by the one and only.
Hey everyone, I'm happy to be back. Thank you for having me.
As always, it's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for taking time out to do some discussion stuff with us. It's going to be a fun series. I'm looking forward to it. We got a lot of news to talk about today, but not only that, in the coming months, I'm sure. I don't know how the news cycle is going to be. It might be every 2 weeks we get something. It could be, periodic dumps here and there. I'll be interested to see how they do it. But so for everybody wondering, me and Pokejungle have decided to address the elephant in the room. We will talk about the Pokedex conundrum, the situation going on with the Pokedex. However, we will be discussing a lot of other things in this video too. We will try not to spend a whole lot of time on the Pokedex, but we do feel that we can at least add discussion and not so much negativity, and just an objective opinion from both of our ends. So our opinions will be objective, and then we'll give our personal thoughts on it. So Pokejungle, let's start with you. When you heard it, what was after the dust settled and you calmed down? What were your reactions? What were your objective opinions in terms of how it will affect the game? Is it a good thing for the game? Is it a good thing for competitive? Do you think them approaching it from a balanced perspective, which was the reasoning they gave, their words, not mine? Do you think that is a good way to go, and can you see it being a benefit?
Unfortunately, I don't see it being a benefit necessarily. And their reasonings, I think, as a lot of people have pointed out, are pretty shaky. But will it hurt how fun Sword and Shield are going to be? I don't think it's going to be a huge impact. So I think, from an enjoyability standpoint, it won't be a huge loss, but I can definitely see why people are upset. And I don't necessarily think that competitively they needed to necessarily just cut out segments of Pokemon because they couldn't put them in the game. So I don't know. What do you think about it?
It's tough because I like to think I always slightly kind of side with the developers, especially with Pokemon, from a standpoint that so it is Pokemon, right? It's not Breath of the Wild, it's not Mario, it's not Bayonetta, it's not these games with these crazy animations, and the game actually really isn't even expressed just based on battle animations. Like, people don't ever play Pokemon and think, oh man, I remember when Pikachu used double kick that way, that was cool. So for me, it's like siding on if I'm looking at it from Game Freak's perspective, and I'm looking at people's criticism of animations, I 100% agree that they could definitely be improved upon. 100%. I don't think Hydro Pump should be coming out of Blastoise's head. I don't think double kick should be something jumping up and down and then a onomatopoeia type Kong Pao thing going on with the animations and stuff. But the other side of it for me is, if the Sword and Shield games are going to have so much content, and they're going to have so much emoting with all the different characters, and they're going to seriously add a lot of cool things to the game, like Omori said himself, there's a lot of content in these games, and this and that. For me, it's always I can settle with the animations that we have. Do I want to? I mean, no, not really. I would like to have awesome animations and stuff. Everybody would. I just think my expectations for Pokemon games since, really ever, has always been, in terms of the battle mechanics and animations, are just always going to be simple because of the spread out demographic of the Pokemon market. And unfortunately, the other side of it, I think the most important side of it, is Pokemon doesn't have or Game Freak doesn't have the luxury of waiting to make the game 6 or 7 years, because they have the anime, they have the TCG. And this isn't me making excuses. This is just me, thinking with logic. I mean, that is what it is. I mean, they do consider those things. The anime has to tie in with the games.
Yeah.
And they are given that timeline. So I think it kind of sucks for Game Freak. I do feel slightly sorry for them in that aspect because they don't have time like if Final Fantasy VII Remake gets. Or like, and obviously not comparing the two, but I just mean development time to make the games better. So from a competitive standpoint, I'm not a huge competitive player, so I don't think I have much playing the game there. But I do think that what frustrates me and why I don't play competitive is because, and it just may be because I'm due to a competitive, I don't know. People bringing over their like Supermons and just waxing you. But I guess that's kind of part of the experience too. People want to use their mons they've had forever, or the perfect IV mon that took them hours to get. They want to use it in battle, and I don't know.
I guess like the one thing that I'll say is just like I will be sad like if I can't bring over a Swaddle or something if it's not native to Galar, but there may be it may be included in the next game. So in the future, I know that I'll be able to take it with me. Maybe just not right now.
And that's the thing. I mean, so Game Freak's done kind of a poor job communicating future plans. They may not even have them right now. But I do foresee a situation because Game Freak and Pokemon Company are smart. They've been doing this a long time. And I urge people to be patient because I do feel, it may be a long patience, but I do urge people to be patient because I feel that either in the next game, the remaining mons will be able to be brought over, or they make Pokemon Home a scenario where it's kind of its own entity, and Masuda actually alluded to that a little bit in an interview that he gave, saying that he may add game elements to Pokemon Home. And I think whatever we get next year, if any, Let's Go Johto or Sinnoh remakes or whatever the case is, they'll find a way to make it happen. It just may not be for a while, which kind of stinks because if I can't bring my shiny first ever Nidoran I caught from Let's Go into the games, that does suck.
Yeah.
That really sucks. So I hear people's frustration. I totally get it. I just think we've kind of reacted in a way that this isn't necessarily constructive and isn't necessarily helpful, and it may be a little bit premature because I think the games are going to have a lot to offer. So I think we should wait and see what the games will offer, how much content has been added to kind of balance the fact that we aren't getting all these Pokemon, and hopefully Masuda and Omori made a call because they felt, you could tell like when they were saying it, they were not happy. Like they definitely wanted to try and do that, and I think that's what makes me feel for them a little bit because up to this point, even in Sun and Moon, we had all the Pokemon, and Omori said that was a struggle to do that. So this isn't something they wanted to do, and I think it's kind of being interpreted that way as well from some people. They're kind of thinking like, oh, they don't care, or they're lazy. Well, it's like, well, they weren't happy about it.
Yeah, and if you think about it, they made walking animations for every single Pokemon. And, in Let's Go, they did use the animations, but that was only for the first 151. So, who knows how much Game Freak has made, and then maybe found it not up to par, or, like, they can't do what they wanted to do. I don't think they're necessarily lazy, and I think the, assets that were included in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, prove that.
Yeah,
personally.
And I always want to try and help people understand that with the 3, maybe 4, I don't know, I think it's more along the lines of 3-year development cycle that they have for the games, they have to reuse assets. And I think every game developer does. I mean, for God's sake, look at Call of Duty. You think they don't reuse assets for a yearly release? Well, of course they do. So I don't know. I think that's a common developer thing from when companies are making these games. But I will urge people to be patient. I think we need to wait and see what content's going to be in this game. I think all can be forgiven if they throw in the Battlefront tier. Call it a day. Everybody wants the Battlefront tier. Let's bring it in and call it a day. But yeah, no, I think we should wait. But I would urge people that are watching the video, be patient. We'll see what happens. If it's not a big deal to you, then it's not a big deal to you, if it's a big deal to some, then I think me and Pokejungle will definitely get it. But do you have any last minute advice on the Pokedex for people that you want to say?
Let's just wait and see what happens with the release, and then we'll take it from there, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach to take too, because you remember the Let's Go stuff last year kind of freaked people out too, and I think, and the good thing is too, Game Freak, by them doing this now, they've let us know as ahead of time as they could, so they could continue to market the game and kind of get past it. If they had announced this in September, they'd be in serious trouble, because any hype that they would have generated for the games, people would have automatically just thought, well, game comes out in 2 months, I don't really care anymore. So I think now is a good time to do it, and we'll see what happens. So those are our thoughts on the Pokedex. Moving on to the next bit of just really, so we haven't had, the last time we did a discussion video, the Direct hadn't happened yet, so we'll be talking about the some of the stuff we got in the Direct, specifically Dynamaxing, and then what we saw at the Treehouse. So we'll start with Dynamaxing. What do you think of Dynamaxing? It's essentially replacing or merging Z moves and Mega Evolutions together. Do you think it's a good thing? Because it seems like all Pokemon are going to be able to use this.
Personally, I like the fact. I know some people don't like the fact, and I've heard, I've heard mixed reviews, I guess, of people's thoughts on it, but I think it looks cool. It looks kind of epic, in battles, and to be honest, I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I think it's going to look really cool on your TV. It's really hard to gauge when you're not playing it and seeing the camera rotate and how cool the mons look all big in the gyms and stuff. I'm not a fan of it myself yet. I think it's one of those things I'm going to have to play. It's just kind of weird to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Z moves.
No, I didn't like Z moves. And I feel like Dynamaxing is going to be a little bit better. Z moves, for me, the animations took too long. It just wasn't interesting enough. But at least there's more. To me, Dynamaxing is a little bit more visually interesting. So we'll see.
One thing that was cool that stuck out to me with the Dynamaxing was when they showed Nessa and they showed Dreadnought. So Dreadnought was her ace. And I think that's where Dynamaxing helps. It kind of really puts emphasis on how badass the aces of each person's team is. Like, if Cynthia were to Dynamax her Garchomp, like that would be awesome. Or like Steven were to Dynamax his Metagross, like that would be sick. So I thought that was cool, and that's kind of where it stuck out to me for the first time. Like, wow, this is a pretty cool mechanic. But in terms of functionality in battle, I'm really not a huge fan of it yet, but it's one of those things. I'm sure I'll like it once I play it.
I'm a little bit curious how technically it works, because it looks like a hologram. Is that what other people are thinking, or is it just me?
I haven't heard that one yet. Looks like basically the Pokemon itself isn't getting bigger. It's like a hologram of the Pokemon, or like for show.
That's what I almost feel like that's what's happening. But I mean, they could be physically changing. I don't know.
The way it seemed to me was Amori was saying it like they get this energy, and that's what makes them like roid rage. So I think that's the idea behind it, because they have that cloud thing above them and they're like getting their energy from that. I think that's the point. I don't know. No, I hadn't heard the hologram conversation. That's interesting though.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll find out in game. I like the air of mystery. They give us a little preview and they don't tell us everything. Yeah,
I love it. I hope they don't tell us as much moving forward. I hope it's just more Mons, Dynamax, and Gyms, and then that's it. I just want to be able to. If there's as much content in these games as they say that there is, then I feel like even if they're just giving us the main key points along the news cycle, that there's going to be a lot of side stuff that we'll get to explore and see on our own, because unfortunately Sun and Moon were pretty linear games, and
yeah, they were.
Yeah, the way they spoiled those games, kind of because the game was so linear, there really wasn't much room to kind of, okay, I'm gonna veer off and go do this. So this game looks like you can it looks like you can spend hours in the wild area before you even go anywhere, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think well, I guess this is in the next topic. I actually did a video on this too. But yeah, I think Dynamaxing is a cool concept. I'm just not a huge fan of it yet, but I think it's one of those things I'll end up liking.
Good.
So, I think the next thing that's cool that we've noticed is difficulty. Game Freak made it a point to show us a Machoke completely bodying Scorbunny, and the the difficulty system for the Dynamax raids. Similar to Pokemon Go. So it seems like they're trying to add like difficulty modes. I'm sure the star system is going to be 1 star through 5 stars, 5 being in the hardest, and strategizing, because when they were fighting the Steelix, it really looked like, I mean, Steelix is a wall in itself, but he was taking hits, and I could definitely see where if you're battling, like we talked about earlier, a more difficult mon, you could get bodied pretty quick. What do you think about the difficulty in the games? Do you think they're going that direction and trying to make that happen?
I was actually really surprised in the wild area when that like level 26 or 25 Machoke appeared. That was pretty interesting because I don't think they've really ever done something like that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, and I think it might give a little bit more challenge to players who are looking for that extra element.
Yeah, and they also made it a point to show us too that you were significantly lower leveled. So it seems like it may be possible early on in the game to run across something like that and kind of challenge yourself if you want to, which is pretty cool in my opinion, because
it did worry me a little bit, like when they said you couldn't, I think they said that you wouldn't be able to catch the higher level Pokemon, you wouldn't even be able to throw a Pokeball. So I'm just wondering, like, if it is possible to take it down with your team, it would be a little bit disappointing not to be able to, like, try to catch a way higher leveled Pokemon, but I don't know, maybe it'll be good XP or something.
Damn, did they really say you can't catch it?
I'm pretty sure that they did say you couldn't even use a Pokeball.
Weird. If that's the case, then that's kind of interesting. I mean, if it's just for an experience grab, I mean, then I guess it's kind of cool. It's like little mini boss battles everywhere, so I can work with that. I guess that's not bad. What do you think of the raid battles? Do you see them? Because they mentioned with the raid battles, you're gonna run into them in the wild, and then when you beat that Pokemon's gonna be available in the wild to catch from that point on. So what are your thoughts on that aspect of it, and then the difficulty aspect too?
Well, to be honest, like, I wish I was back in Japan, because I just know that there's gonna be so many people in Tokyo who are gonna be like on the trains or whatever, ready for a big battle. I want to be in there doing that, but I'm a little bit worried about getting a group together here in Minnesota. But they do look exciting, they look fun, and I'm looking forward to like trying them out.
The good thing about it is you'll at least be able to play online with your friends that way too. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know how Minnesota is. I've never been there, but like in my city's pretty small too. I could go like downtown. I say that it's really not a big town or anything. It's just kind of like local spots you can walk to, like by the beach and stuff. But Pokemon Go is actually pretty big. There are some pretty decent areas I can go to. I just wonder, I kind of am concerned if your people are going to be like using their Switches out there to do it. So that kind of stinks. But I think at the very least, we can hop in our Discord or people online and stuff, and we can always do raid battles with them and stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's a cool way to interact. I definitely plan on doing that. I'm going to be giving my friend code to everybody, and then we can just raid battle. I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be cool. So yeah, difficulty seems to be a thing that they want to throw in there. So I'm looking forward to that. I guess the next thing we can talk about is the new Pokemon. So we talked about, we got Yamper, and we got Impidimp. Yamper is the Corgi electric type, and Impidimp is the dark fairy type. So what are your thoughts on the two new mons?
I kind of am interested in Impidimp because I feel like it's going to evolve. Personally, I do feel like that it will evolve, and I'm interested to see like where it would go if it did evolve. So it intrigues me, but on its own, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the design. I don't know, how do you feel about that?
I actually like Impidimp. I think he's kind of cool. He's like kind of funny looking. He's seems kind of like a jokester too.
Yeah.
The Corgi Pokemon Yamper, I'm not too I'm not too fond of. I mean, I'm a huge dog person. Like, I love dogs. So it's kind of, I'm kind of disappointed I don't like it more. But I mean, I guess it's cute. I've seen some cute fan art and stuff people have done, which is pretty awesome.
Like, it looks cute, but it looks almost like a little bit too cute for me. Actually, my dog is sitting next to me right now, but I'm not a dog person, really, sorry. And so I'm glad it's included for everyone's different tastes, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Is your dog's name Growlithe?
No.
Darn. Is it Seawaddle?
No.
You could have just named him Waddle. Come here, Waddle.
Yeah, I could. I could now, but yeah, it's family dog, so.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, Seawaddle and Yamper, or Seawaddle, jeez, look at this. Impidimp and Yamper. Impidim's definitely my favorite of the two. Who's your favorite Pokemon that we've seen revealed so far?
You know, I think that's gonna have to go to Corviknight.
Corviknight!
I just love it.
Dude, I'm in love with Corviknight. Seriously, I love that Pokemon. He might have like just kind of automatically creeped into my top 5 designs. Like, he's just so cool.
Yeah, like the inspiration for its design just looks cool, and it just seems like it fits so well. And like the taxi thing just looks awesome as well. So everything about it I just love.
I can't wait to see the animation for the taxi. Like,
yeah.
I wonder, wouldn't it be cool if they like let you control it? You can like
like in the Boros games, Alpha, Omega,
yeah.
Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby.
Yeah, I just say ORAS because I'd be confusing myself too. Alpha Ruby or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the animations about like flying, and I assume there may be like a cut. Like your typical field moves. I wonder how they'll handle that stuff. I don't think we've seen like movable boulders or anything in any of the trailers yet so far.
Yeah, I don't think we have.
We got the water part covered because the bike transforms into, the water. You can basically just ride your bike over the water, and then I think it goes electric and you go faster.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some aspects they've added to the bike, I think, that will take care of the field stuff. But like cut and flies with the taxi. I don't know. I'd be interested to see how much of the field stuff they actually kept. I know Masuda talked about one of the frustrating parts for each different generation is how to implement the different field moves, because he's kind of running out of ideas with this.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think we have 8 Pokemon total so far revealed. See, because we got Gossiflower, its evolution, the 3 starters. Wooloo. We got to talk about Wooloo. What do you think about Wooloo? Roll on.
I do like it. But I do like Mareep too. I feel like Mareep should have been just as popular. I mean, they're both adorable.
Yeah, do you think we'll have a Mareep Wooloo rivalry in Galar?
I do hope they include Mareep, because that'd be kind of fun. Like if they were like warring ranches or something.
That would be funny. Farming wars.
Yeah, we need that.
I think Dreadnought could have came across as the new fossil Pokemon. I think that would have been a cool idea. He's definitely cool design. He's mean. He's like, just get the hell out of my way. I'm gonna bite your head off. I won't be using it on my team because he just doesn't fit the bill for how my teams are usually built when I play the games. He's very slow, bulky, and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I don't think, and the typing's really bad. So I don't think I'll actually use it. But Gossiflower bodies that thing with a Mega Drain. So
I really like Dreadnought's design, but the colors for me just like seem very, I don't know, like juvenile, and I just wish I had a little bit more tasteful coloration or whatever.
Yeah, I agree with you on the colors. But the design itself is good. I totally see what you mean with the colors. So I think Gossiflower is a cute Pokemon too. I mean, probably My guess would be like the Budew of the games, or the Roselia, whatever you want to say. I don't know if Eldegoss will evolve. Maybe it's a jump left type situation.
I do feel like it's going to get an evolution.
Think so?
Personally, yeah.
And this just may have been the way that I took it, but like when James Turner was talking about the Pokemon, and then he was like, oh, there are Pokemon that can evolve. And then he talked about Corviknight, he talked about Dreadnought, and then he talked about Gossiflower, and then he mentioned as Gossifleur being one of the Pokemon that can evolve. So to me, it kind of took like, okay, so Corviknight and Dreadnought may not have evolutions. Because wouldn't they have shown that they can evolve too? Or maybe it's just not the time to yet. I don't know. I don't think Corviknight's going to evolve, or does it have a pre-evolution? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be okay being just like a one-off Pokemon, personally.
Like Skarmory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, the Pokemon design so far are pretty good. James Turner's done a good job of directing the game.
You know, like the ones that I don't like, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna say are the legendaries. I haven't responded well to them personally.
Yeah, no one's really talking about them either. I mean, I think the Shield one is the most popular. Man, I don't even know their names. Zamazante, or I forget its name, honestly. Yeah, it shows how much we're paying attention. Zamazenta.
The Shield one and the Sword one.
Yeah, the Shield one and the Sword one. I don't blame you. Yeah, Zamazenta. I got it in front of me. I don't know. He kind of like when his mane flares out and he goes colored up, it reminds me of Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and I get happy, and then I'm like, oh, it's still not that cool. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have different forms. I definitely see them having some type of form change or something.
Yeah, we'll see.
They may end up being better. Do you think we'll have a third evil? Will there be a Necrozma type figure, you think, in these games?
I do believe that rumor that came out, and what was it, like Eternus or something?
Yeah.
That's the third one, so I'm totally on board with that.
I think, and I think I tweeted about this too, or I talked about it in one of my videos. I think the CGI aspect of the legendary reveals, when they both kind of found each other and then they like turned around back to back and the wind started blowing and stuff. And I kind of took that, and I may take things too literal, but I thought I took that as like they're ready to defend something, like some ominous force that's coming. Like that was kind of how I took that. And I hope so. I hope it's hell. Maybe it's interesting because Leon's shirt has the sword and shield aspect on it. I'm curious if he'll have one of the legendaries, or if maybe the sword and shield, like maybe they combine or something and they form like this like armored thing, and then that's how they fight the evil thing. Like I wonder if like something like that could be really cool actually if they did that.
Yeah, and I'm wondering like if it's gonna be another, like there's a legendary that's the pre-evolution or something, because they're both wolves. So what if there's like a cub, like Cosmog kind of played in like Sun and Moon games?
Yeah, I definitely think there's more to the legendaries than what we've been shown, and I think it kind of reminds me of that one Digimon when Wargreymon and the other one Wargarurumon fuse together, and they form the guy's got the sword and shield. Like I could see something like that happening and then they're like a knight, and then they end up fighting the evil thing. Pokemon's done crazier things. I mean, come on, we got Kyurem fusing with Reshiram and looking all crazy, and then we had Ultra Beasts. So to me, that's something pretty basic compared to what
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool if they transformed into a knight or something. That would be sick. But so those are the legendaries. I think one of the main points, then maybe we can touch on a few other side points before we end the discussion, is Nessa, the gym leader. She was revealed, and in her gym, and it may have just been for demo because I didn't want to reveal more Pokemon, in her gym, trainers had different elements of Pokemon than what were in the gym, i.e. Vulpix and Gossifleur, I think. So what are your thoughts on Nessa? She's also holding a dive ball, which is cool. It kind of adds to the flair of the gym. What do you think of her design, her gym in general? Just ask.
I mean, from the E3 demo, it looked really fun, and personally, I love her design, and I hope that the other gym leaders have like similarly well-designed looks, because she blew me out of the water. No pun intended.
Yeah, yeah, she definitely looks really cool, and I really like her dialogue too. Um,
Yeah.
and another cool aspect too, I didn't touch on this, was it looks like they're bringing back the Gen 5 deal where the gym leaders are going to interact as you're beating them.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, you're pushing me back, or you know, you're not going to beat me, and like cool dialogue in between the battles, I think makes it cool. I'm also interested to see the different camera angles we'll get with Rotom, kind of adding that stadium effect. And I really liked how they scaled the gym leader puzzle. Like, you definitely can tell they zoomed it out and made it much more expressive and much more big. Doesn't feel so condensed like the Mauville gym and stuff.
Yeah, and you know, like from what saw from the videos on E3, it did look well done. So you know, like I'm hopeful that this is going to be the gym. Going back to the gym system is going to be fun still.
Yeah, and they've definitely done it in a good way because they've made the gym so expressive and so big, and it looks really cool. Do you think the gym leaders in the gyms will have different types of Pokemon than what badge you're going for?
It seems like they might just from the demo, but that is a little bit different. But I'm glad, you know, if they put a new spin on the gym thing and just have trainers who are training whatever their favorite Pokemon in the gym, I think that's cool.
Yeah, I do too. Honestly, I think it's a really good twist. It kind of keeps you guessing. It keeps you on your toes. You're not anticipating the same thing. And then my last 2 points with the gyms that I think we should touch on. It looks like your badge case is some type of weird ring thing. I don't know if you noticed that. The badge went into, like, the animation came up, and then the water badge went into, like, this circular object. It wasn't a badge case or anything, so that's kind of interesting. And then the fact that you can heal your Pokemon in gyms now. You don't have to leave. You can actually heal your Pokemon in the gyms, which is really cool.
Well, you know, to be honest, I would rather focus on like building strategies rather than just running back and forth from the Pokemon Center back to the gym. You know, beating them, boom, boom, boom. So.
Yeah, exactly. There's been times where I've actually battled gyms with hurt Pokemon on purpose, just for the difficulty of it, or just to see how hard it's actually going to be. Like, if I go in half health, can I take another hit? Because I don't know, in a sense, it's kind of using your imagination. It's a bit more realistic. If you know, it's like it's kind of anticlimactic. It's like you get up to the gym leader and you're like, oh wait, hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta go heal. So I think that's kind of cool. They've at least eliminated that. So all in all, we've talked about the Dynamax feature. We've talked about the gym leaders, some of the mechanics in the gym. We've talked about the visuals. We've talked about the new Pokemon, and we've talked about the oh-so-loved Pokedex concept that they talked about. Some other little side things real quick. It looks like they're going to feature the Pokeball Plus in a small way. If you buy a new Pokeball Plus, you can add Mew to your game. It does have to be a new Pokeball Plus, though. My assumption is if Mew can come over to Galar, then the Mew you had in Let's Go should be able to go to home to Galar. To me, that makes sense. So it looks like that's going to be the case. You can also take your Galar Pokemon in the Pokeball Plus and travel with it, which is pretty cool. I think in the Direct or something, they had Grookey in the Pokeball Plus, which is pretty cool. And I don't think I'm mistaken. Am I correct in saying those two things? I'm pretty sure that was the deal.
Correct.
And some other little keynotes. Oh man, we didn't touch on the wild area. Let's do that real quick. That's kind of important. So the wild area is obviously the biggest thing they wanted to emphasize. Kind of an MMO type environment. It looks like you're going to be able to interact with other players visually. The players are going to be on screen with you doing their thing. And there's a new online system called is it the Y system, or the?
Yeah, Y communicator or something.
Yeah. So it's actually, there's some side notes on the side there that icons are going to pop up and tell you what your friends are doing. Like, your friend just caught this Pokemon, or your friend wants to trade. So it looks like a pretty cool online system they're putting together, and the PSS type feature looks like it's staying too. There were some translations people put on there. It looks like Wonder Trade will be in it. So just give me your overall thoughts on the wild area, what you think of the area in general, and then the online feature.
You know, like I'm really excited to see like all the different species that they managed to kind of fit in there, and I hope that like it'll feel a little bit more exciting than maybe the average route, just because you don't know what's going to pop up next. I also love the combination of seeing some Pokemon in the field and then also still having the random encounters. I think that's a great mix. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I love that the random encounters entirely are gone. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a huge improvement. I like the fact that you can interact with the Pokemon. If you whistle at one, they'll run away.
Yeah.
Some will come to you. I think that's pretty cool. I definitely like the fact that the Pokemon are in the overworld and that there's like significant weather changes that really make the Pokemon come and go. So there's incentive to come back, kind of like the seasons in Gen 5. It's kind of similar.
Yeah.
So I think the wild area is going to be something that's really, really cool, and it definitely looks like they made it big enough to where you're going to want to use that freaking bicycle, unless you really want to run places, because Pokeride definitely doesn't seem to be a thing. But maybe you can. That may be something they reveal down the road. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think they're just going to stick with the bike?
I would like to see riding Pokemon come back. That's the thing that I would like, but I don't have much hope of it coming back, so I think we might be biking a lot.
Yeah, they seem to want to market that a little bit in the treehouse, which is fine. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. We haven't really had the bike. We didn't, oddly enough, have one in Let's Go. That was like one of the core things of Kanto, was getting the bicycle.
Yeah.
Very interesting that wasn't in the game of all things they left out. But yeah, I think it's cool. Going to be cool to have a bike again with multiple features to kind of make it more enjoyable. I think that's going to be really cool. But I'm really looking forward to the wild area. I'm looking forward to using the online features and seeing just how user-friendly it is and how effective it is in communicating with your friends and stuff. So I think that's going to be the highlight of the game, really, the wild areas. I think that's going to be something people really, really spend a lot of time in. And it was such a tease when they almost went into the city and then they didn't. And I was like, oh, God, that would have been so cool if they went in the city. But I'm sure we'll have our moment to kind of... Well, we've already seen screenshots and like little clips.
Well, we'll see it soon enough.
Yeah, we'll see it soon enough. Well, I think that concludes the discussion, guys. I think we've covered everything, all the main points that we wanted to talk about and everything that's happened over the last week or so. It's definitely been a very eventful week. We will definitely do our best to make sure we cover things in a somewhat timely manner, so we don't make like 50-minute videos every time. But if you guys like those, then hey, we'll stick with it and wait to cover. But we just kind of have to see how the news cycle goes, and if it's something that's every 2 weeks, then I'm sure me and Pokejungle can work it out to where we cover each drop. It doesn't seem like Core is going to be very relevant in new stuff, so
No.
but it may be. I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna end the discussion. Did you want to add anything? Did you have any going away comments before we stop the discussion video?
Nope, just visit my site, pokejungle.net.
Definitely make sure you follow. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Go on there and check out. He covers rumors. He covers actual news. He covers pretty much everything. He's got cool emotes that go with. You can react to his different posts and everything. I think that's really cool. So definitely be sure to check out his website. Link in the description below. And if you guys like the discussion video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It definitely helps. And I appreciate all the support that you guys provide. And let's try and stay positive. Like I said, be patient, guys. Let's give Game Freak a chance here, and we'll see what they throw at us here the next few months. So thank you guys for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Pokejungle, Nido17, we are out. Peace.